How's everybody doing tonight? Give me a thumbs up. Awesome. All right. Awesome. Happy New Year. All right. So we'll go ahead and get started. And we had quite a few people register for today. So hopefully they'll join us. I'm just going to kind of keep an eye on my email and make sure that nobody's having any trouble getting in. So I am going to share my screen in a minute, but just to kind of let you know how things are going to go tonight. We are going to do some moving around. And so I do hope that you will join us in that. And then I hope that when we've covered all of the topics that we can have a discussion about how things are going in your classroom with physical activity. So whether you're doing that virtual or you're doing it in person, how that looks for you right now. Hey there, how are you? Yay. I am so glad to see all the familiar faces. This is so exciting. All right, so I'm going to share my screen. And hopefully, let's see, oh, perfect. All righty. So can everyone see that okay? Perfect. All right. So we're going to do physical activity, classroom policies, and ECE yoga. So, let's see, there we go. So as you know, I'm Elizabeth. I'm with the Cooperative Extension AZ Health Zone. And with us also tonight is Andrea from the Cochise County Health Department. And I'm trying to see who else. We also work with FNIP and Building Healthy Communities. So we have a large team of people that work on Taco Tuesdays. So it is a collaborative effort, and that does include you all as well as educators. You're a very important part of this since you're actually the people in the classroom. So we're going to first start with our house treasure hunt. And I chose this one because this is something you can do with your students as well if you are teaching virtually. And I might want to change some of the items, but if you want to get them up and moving and give them a little bit of a brain break, this is a perfect opportunity to do. So I'm going to give us 3 minutes and see how many of these items on the screen you can bring. So something that is older than you, something yellow, your favorite snack, the weirdest family-friendly thing in your home and show it to us, your favorite book or favorite magazine, your favorite kitchen utensil, something that fits in the palm of your hand, something that is your favorite treasure, something from your college or favorite sports team. And another option is a Zoom background from your favorite place. So is 3 minutes a good enough time? Is that a good amount of time? All right, fantastic. So I will see you all back here in 3 minutes. All right, perfect. Good job, everybody. So 3 minutes, and I'm going to see if I can make this bigger. Haha. Learning all the Zoom tricks here. Look at that. Perfect. All right. So hopefully everyone grabbed a couple of items. So I'd like for you to pick one or two. I mean, show all of them if you want, but pick one or two that you'd like to share with everybody. And I'll start so it's not awkward. Older than me. This is from my grandmother. She really loved horses. It's a horseshoe pin. And it's one of the things that I have from her. So that's something older than me. My favorite snack, I love almonds. These are the wasabi soy ones. They're so salty, they're so good. I keep this on my desk. It fits in the palm of my hand. Cuticle cream. My treasure, my munchkin, all kinds of like that. And then, of course, you've probably seen me wear this. All right, so who would like to go next?
I can go.
Awesome, great.
I have something heavy, but it's something old.
Oh,
It's an old sharpening stone from my grandpa.
oh my goodness.
And my it comes out of the Netherlands, and my husband actually just fixed it all up. So that's
amazing.
I guess something weird. I just found this during one of my hikes, and it's like a vertebrae from a deer.
Nice.
So I have something yellow, like my favorite little like kitchen item, and that's the little potato peeler. So,
Nice, nice.
and
Perfect.
this indeed is my favorite thing in the house, and that's a picture of my mom and dad.
Perfect.
So well, that's it. I'll let
Thank
someone
you.
else go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, who would like to go next? Great. Go right ahead.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, something yellow, of course, a banana. I can't
Good.
see myself. Hold on. Oh, I see myself now. A banana. What else? Something that fits in the palm of my hands would be Pop Rocks, and I love Pop Rocks.
Nice.
They're so fun. My favorite book would be The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success by Deepak Chopra. And something weird in my house, I think this is the weirdest sculpture by far. I just got it. And I think it's so weird, but I love it.
Beautiful.
And something that I treasure, of course, my daughters.
Great. Oh, awesome.
And my favorite utensil, the lemon squeezer. And that's it.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Who would like to go next? Shelby?
I can go. So I wasn't quite sure because the headphones weren't cooperating with my school computer, so I didn't know how many we were supposed to get. So I found 6, but some of them
That's
go to
good.
10. So I have this stocking, denim stocking that was made, that my aunt made from my granddad's old jeans and shirt, and wrote a poem to go with it. And all of us cousins have one different from one another. And then sitting on the piano was a picture of my grandma when she was younger at Christmas time. So
Nice.
that was close by. My yellow item is this giggling monster that a deceased coworker gave me when she was my Halloween buddy or whatever, secret buddy, and it laughs. I grabbed the container of cashews for this favorite snack because that's my go-to snack.
Mhm.
A coding critter that goes with one of my mini robots from training.
Very nice.
And then my U of A Santa hat.
Awesome.
So that's what I
Alright.
grabbed.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Joanna?
Hi, everyone. So I was trying to find everything really quickly. I don't know how many things I got. I was trying for my something older than me. My mom's here today. So I was like, come over here. She's like, no. So my mom's older than me. So she's here. She's on the couch, but she doesn't want to be seen. And then for my something yellow, I have some sunflowers. I love sunflowers. So these are my something yellow. And then let me see, something that fits in the palm of my hand is my chapstick. I always carry chapstick. And then something that I treasure, my son, and my college gear, U of A, of course. My U of A sweater. And then I wasn't sure. I was like, something like a kitchen utensil. Like my favorite thing is a coffee mug because I love to drink either tea or coffee. So
Nice.
yes. So I think that's everything that I grabbed really quickly.
That's perfect. Oh my gosh, that's great. Would anyone else like to share?
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm trying to get, I don't know what I did, trying to do this in a hurry.
It's okay.
Sorry.
There you are. We see you.
Okay. So my yellow,
Nice.
and then my older is a quarter. That's older than I am.
Wow. Nice.
My favorite snack, I know I placed it here somewhere. Almonds also.
Perfect. Perfect.
And the team, I didn't find a shirt, but I found the little flag of our favorite team.
Perfect.
And that's all I found.
That's great. No, that's perfect. That's perfect. Thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else like to share? All righty. Well, we're going to thank you. That was fantastic. I love that. So this is something that you could do if you are teaching virtually with your students. Give them some age appropriate items to pick, but also, I mean, some of these would be really nice. Like ask them to bring something older than them and see what they bring. I think this would be really fun. If you are in person and you are in the classroom, you could also do this in the classroom, to have them go around and find some different things, like what's their favorite toy, or something like that. Kind of mix it up a little bit. So, all right. So today we're going to create our own classroom policies for physical activity. Most of you probably already have these, but we're going to kind of talk about how that looks with including our students in the process. We're going to practice a couple of physical activities. And then we're going to do tell a story through ECE yoga. All right. So my favorite question, what's the difference between a rule or a policy? My daughter is in 3rd grade this year, and her teacher says that classroom rules are meant to be broken. And I love that because it's true. Rules are easily broken. And if we have something like a policy that everyone has buy-in on, it's not meant to be broken. It's a contract that we work on continually. A definition of a policy is a course of action agreed upon by all of those involved. And so I know that we are dealing with very young children, but we're also dealing with their families as well. So when we talk about classroom policies, we're talking about all the people involved. So I think physical activity is a perfect classroom policy to have with your students, kind of asking them what they think should be included in the process. And so most of you are familiar with Empower, and this is almost impossible to read, but essentially Empower's policy for physical activity is 60 minutes a day. 30 minutes of that policy is inside, 30 minutes of that activity is inside, 30 minutes is outside. And then, a portion of that is student-led, so like free play, imaginative play. And then a portion of that is adult-led. So some of the activities that we're going to talk about here would definitely go under the adult-led, but hopefully with them can be adapted by the children for their own free play. I'm going to show you my sample policy. So just really simple, pretending that I had a classroom. I would say that adults in the classroom will provide the 60 minutes of physical activity a day. That's our job as the educators, is to provide that amount of activity. And then the next two are especially important to me as an educator. So I feel that adults will participate in the physical activity to the best of their ability, being a good role model. And why I've included this in my policy is because students do what they see, right? Kids always do what they see. And if when they're playing or they're participating in physical activity, if we beg off, if we as educators are like, oh, no, I can't do that, like I'm too old, or then it starts to plant the idea in their mind that there is a time that they don't have to do this anymore, that they don't have to do physical activity anymore. And we want to create a lifetime healthy relationship with physical activity. We want it to be something that they enjoy doing and that they don't see it as just a job that they have to do in school. That's why that's really important to me. And then adults will never use physical activity as punishment. And that is part of the Empower policy as well. But I see some nodding, and I think we all know it's really important, whether we're withholding or giving physical activity as a punishment. Of course, at this age, I don't see anybody saying, give me 50 push-ups. But as kids get older, that is something, run laps, do this, do that, or they lose recess because, they didn't finish their homework. And oftentimes, when kids are punished with physical activity or with withholding physical activity, that's when they need it the most. So that is in my policy. And then my pretend students, I asked them what they wanted to see in our classroom policy. And my pretend students promised to participate in physical activity to the best of their ability as well. Because just like us, there's days when they may be a little extra creaky or may not feel totally into it, but they agree that every day they'll do the best they can. And then the last one is also part of the Empower policy. Students will use screens for schoolwork for no more than 3 hours and never during meals. So this is especially important if our students are, this is kind of a weird thing, if they're learning at home, they need to make sure they take those screen breaks. And so even though we may not be able to put, say 3 hours, maybe we could ask them to make sure when they do eat lunch, when they take their lunch break, that they sit at a table or, sit somewhere comfortable, but, take a break from the screen. Don't watch cartoons during that time. Don't play video games during that time. Just to give their brains a break from the screen. Definitely, COVID education has stretched our screen time rules for all of us. I know a lot of you showed pictures of your kids, and my kid gets way more screen time than she ever did before. Not only because of school, but because a lot of times I'm in front of the screen. And so my pretend students agree to use their screens for schoolwork and to take as many brain breaks as possible. So if I should change this last one because that would be the better one. So I would like for each of you to take a minute, think about what you would put in your policy. Think about what your students may want in their policy. If you have some paper and pencil handy, scribble it down real quick. So we will take another 3 minutes and we will make our own policies for our classroom. So I'm going to set my timer. Perfect. Perfect. All right. So that's our 3 minutes. So would anyone like to share a couple of things that they put on their policy?
I'll go. I actually typed it on the chat. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Students, something that we already do. Students will have brain breaks using physical activity throughout circle time lessons.
Perfect. Great. Great. All right. Who wants to go next? Oh, please go right ahead.
I wanted to create a policy in regards to what you said, that when we see students that are like very hyperactive, or they need like some type of emotional regulation, that we will provide some type of physical engagement. But I didn't know how to word it out very clearly, just because I didn't want it to sound as physical as PA punishment.
Right. So yeah, I totally see that. I'm trying to think if anyone has like an idea, please jump in. I'm thinking something along.
What I wrote is adults will provide some type of physical engagement for the child when the child is in need of emotional regulation.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely a good start. It doesn't sound punishment-y, but and it says what it is. Like when a student needs to have a release or have like some exercise, or then the adult will provide that. That would be a really healthy classroom to be in. Great. Anyone else want to share?
I mean, I have a lot the same, even if it's a 2-hour program. I mean, I provide only about half an hour of physical activity. And indeed, I never take away the physical activity as a punishment. And then the other is that we all try to do our best, but also try to be safe.
Yes.
So that we don't basically bump into other kids and things like that.
Perfect. Perfect. Great. Anyone else have something they want to share?
Well, we implement the same one as Miss Reyes's class. We implement the movement, the brain breaks during circle time, and other activities that we might be doing where we see that little break.
Perfect.
Anna, I was like, oh, she has a cool background. It looks like she's sinking.
All right. Anyone else want to share before we move on? Great. So next, we're going to get up and move. So we have our policy. We have our policies about getting some physical activity. It's always interesting to do this in the classroom anyway, but I'm sure with COVID, there's extra special, whether you're in person or if you're teaching online, there's probably a few extra steps and whatnot that go into everything to make things even more interesting. So I'm gonna turn my phone back off because it'll just ding away. Our first activity we're going to do is called Hibernate. So I will send the website that I found these on to you all. And you probably already have access to this, but I was trying to think of some activities that could be done kind of in a personal space, but also could be done at home with very limited, if any, materials. So that way we're not asking people to come up with things that they might not have in their houses. So this first one is called Hibernate, and it says it goes really well with the book Bear Snores. I'm not familiar with that one, but I think this would be a great like winter tale if we're talking about hibernation or life cycles or any of those type of curriculums. So we're going to all stand up if you're comfortable doing so. And I'm fortunate, I brought my fancy desk from the office so I can move my desk up and down and move my chair out of the way. And so what I really like about this is it's practicing self-control and the ability to follow 2 or 3-step directions. And what I really liked about this website, once again, you guys are probably all familiar with this, is it has suggestions for assessment right in here. So I thought that was a nice extra added touch to it. So you could do this with turning lights on or off, or you could do this with words. So let me turn my page. We're all going to pretend we're asleep. And if we're students at home, we could lay down on the floor. If we're in the classroom, if you're comfortable with that, they could lay on the floor. They could stand up just like this and pretend they're asleep. And we're going to say hibernate. Everybody's asleep. And then we say, wake up, it's springtime. So you could turn off the light and turn the light on if you wanted to for a cue. And then we're going to have kids walk like bears. So does anyone know what a bear walk is? Yeah, they could do that. You could walk around like this. You could go like roar. Let me see if I can actually do this. This is the weird thing with the not being in person. See how low I can go. There we go. You walk with your feet apart, so feet spread apart and hands touching the ground, and walk kind of like that. And they can walk around the room, and then you could have them go back to sleep again. You could have them wake up. If you wanted to incorporate one of the yoga moves, that's one of my favorites. You could do where they do a bear walking and they lift opposite leg and opposite arm. So it would look something like this. Let's see if I can do this. So like lift one leg and then the opposite arm. And do that on the ground. It's like a bear walk. And that's a core building exercise. Helps build that balance. It's one of my favorites. So the other activity that I had was called Snowball Throw. And this would be a really good activity for students at home to do, because it wouldn't require a lot of materials. It says to use a large cardboard cutout, like taking some cardboard and making a snowman. I just took a piece of construction paper and drew one. And taking plastic grocery bags for snowballs. So I just wadded these up, and it's like 2 pieces of tape. And we all have these around the house. And I'm going to show you if it works well. This is my Munchkin. She is my test subject all the time. So this is how this looked. And you can have them stand back a certain distance. You can use a jump rope or anything. A hula hoop, they have to stay in the hula hoop. There are lots of variations. You can have them might go back further. So however that looks for your classroom or for home. And that's why I think this would be a good activity for students that might be virtual, because it gives them a break, a little bit of a frustration release, all kinds of fun things there. Oops. There we go. The next activity, we're not going to do this one, but this one's an outside activity. And I was like, oh, I want to try to figure out, and there's just no way how to do this one for us right now. So it's called shadow tag. And so if you're outside, and I know a lot of schools don't, a lot of schools don't do tag anymore because of the actual, not just the COVID, but I know at my daughter's school, they stopped playing tag because too many kids got hurt. But it is a traditional game that we play. So how do we change it up? So shadow tag is one way to do it, where they stand on the shadow of the other kid. And there has to, you make sure that they know, they have to be able to communicate. So good for communication skills as well. So they have to be able to say, I've got your shadow, and then, you know, follow the rules, like I have to stop. So I thought this was a really fun outside, no contact, still kind of a game. And I'll send that one as well. Some of this is to eliminate touching and possibly knocking children down. The tagger should shout "caught" when stepping on their partner's shadow. And it would be an easy, like you could partner kids up so that there's not an it. There's lots of ways to kind of make that a nicer version of tag. All right, so any questions before we go on? All righty. So early childhood yoga. So I know a couple of you, we've talked about this before. So it's early childhood yoga is not like adult yoga. Kids are perfectly capable of doing yoga, but this is more of a classroom-centric idea to get kids to move and let them use their imaginations. It's really good for quick brain breaks. And it's great for transitions, like between parts of your day. Just like with adults, it's really good for helping kids build those core muscles and work on balance. And you know, we all know that that's something that kids need. My daughter is doing some vision work, and one of the things that they do with that is help with her core strength as well. So it's really interesting to me how important that is all the way around for development. So I like to tie yoga into stories. So it helps reinforce things we're learning in our classroom. And so I decided I've done a lot of different like routines, like Head to Toe by Eric Carle, and I'd be happy to share any that I've made up with you all. I learned from a person who made her own storyboards and sold the yoga cards. And she was fantastic. Her material is copyrighted. So I'm allowed to share that like with a certain number of people, and that's fine. I'd be happy to share those as well. But I decided because of that, I would make my own. And so I would encourage you to do the same. Like if you really like this and it's something that you're really interested in, Google yoga poses and make your own routines for books that are really popular in your classroom. I can send some other resources, some sites that have some free resources that you can use and some that you can buy too. So that'll all come in the post email. Oh, there we go. This is what we're going to do today. I took Over in the Meadow, which is a classic kind of kids song. We have it in book form. So if we ever do get to come back to classrooms, I can read it and then do it. And then I do have the YouTube, there's a YouTube, there's lots of, right, to it. And this is how I did it, just so you can kind of like see like the thought process behind it. In the book, it starts with a turtle, but in the song that I'm gonna play, I'm gonna send you the link to, it starts with a toad. Then the fish swim. And so I did 3 different things for swimming. There's the most obvious swimming, which is the Superman pose. And then, but if you don't want kids laying on the floor, maybe this warrior pose might be better, or maybe both. And if neither, this requires quite a bit of balance. And if maybe your students aren't quite there yet, maybe the boat pose down here, which is with your knee up and your arm resting for a sail, so they can sail down the water. Then next is the bird in the tree, and then the muskrat's diving, and the bee, and then the crow with the nest full of birds. They're sitting on the nest. Crickets, and then the lizards on the gate. So you could do just the gate pose, once again, if you didn't want kids on the ground, but once again, if they're home, then that's, fine. And then frogs and a lily pad. And the song ends with a spider. So I have 3 spider variations. Kids love this one, the wiggly one down here at the bottom in the purple. This one is really good, the peacock. And I love this pose, the table pose. I thought that might be good for spider as well. But once again, that's a little bit more balance required. So it also depends on what you want to demonstrate to your students. And then in the book at the end, it has a firefly. So I did this pose here. So now we're going to get to do it. And if everything works right, I recorded myself earlier today doing it, just because I didn't want to have to mess with the camera angles and like unplugging my computer and plugging it back in. But I will stand up and do it too. You can just follow along with the video, if that's okay. So I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second, and I'm going to make sure I share sound. There we go. Because I had the music in the background. I don't think it's going to be very loud, but I think you'll get the idea. All right. Is everybody ready? All right, great. So we start with the turtle, or with the toad. And then we're going to swim. I'm just going to go ahead and do warrior. And we make sure everything we do on one side, we do on the other. So if you do one leg, make sure you do the other leg. And the birds. And then they fly. Switching pages. And next is the muskrat. So this is the waterfall. And then we reach down and touch our toes. It dives. it. Great. And then they can sit crisscross, applesauce or lotus, and put their hands on their shoulders and do the B. And then next is the crow. There's like a half squat, and then the bird on their nest is like a full squat. And then I just come up and down. The bug is one of my favorites. Is next. Your hands go under your knees and behind your feet on the ground. Kids love it. And then next is the gait. So you do the standing up or kneeling. So like that. And then that. And then you wanted to do the lizard. You can let them make lizard sounds if they like. And then frog again. Lily pad, lay down and take a deep breath. And then we are at the spider. The kids love that, the wiggle. All right, and then firefly if you wanted to. All right, great. And then one of the important parts of yoga is allowing for a moment of rest. So I think the formula, I don't remember this because this is 1 minute for every 10 minutes of yoga for rest. And so it is important to allow your students a moment to transition out of the activity back into whatever is next. And whether that's just like take a deep breath, think about how your muscles feel, think about being on a lily pad, think about being in a cloud, just kind of let them relax for a minute and then transition into the next activity. I love these frog yoga figures, by the way. I use them all the time. They're super cool. I wish I had them all over my house. So that is really the gist of the yoga routine. As you can see, it's really easy, and you can mix it up for kids because every classroom is a little bit different. Students have different abilities, and so especially when we're dealing with preschool kids, a lot of those balance things they don't have yet, but they like to try. So don't discount something because you think it may be too hard for them, because I am always surprised at what they'll pull off. So any questions about that? No? Great. So I will send you a copy of that routine and the YouTube link, as well as the website resources that you can get, like free resources and all kinds of fun things like that. If you have a book that you like, your classroom loves, and need like some help, like creating something to go with it, just let me know. I'd be happy to help with that. Some are easier than others. Like I was trying to figure out how to do the Hungry Caterpillar, like the Eric Carle book, but I just couldn't figure it out. So yeah. But if you have like some, I have the, because I can't think, like I have this one that I've done. So if that's a book you like in your classroom, Head to Toe, and some others. So I'd be happy to send, if you want them, I'd be happy to send any of those to you. All right. So before we go, I'd love to hear how things are going for you in your classroom, especially with physical activity. How's it been this semester?
Well, it's barely been 4 days back. We started back on a Thursday last week. So it was kind of like a review for my kids, Thursday, Friday, kind of, like getting back to the routine and the whole connecting and all of that. So yesterday was our first day, like official day back, like as a full week, like the whole class meeting with like, the circle time and the intro of a new topic. So, and then today with our buddy focus meeting. So it's barely been officially 2 days back to, normal, because last week was just kind of like I said, a review and just getting back, getting used to it again. Yes, but as far as physical activity, like I mentioned, when we're doing like our circle time, a lesson as a whole class meeting, we try to have those brain breaks in between, especially if we're going to switch from like one thing to another, or after a read aloud or going into, something else, try to have those transitions with either, getting up and doing like head, shoulders, knees, and toes, deep breaths, a video with that, that if you're happy, clap your hands, just something to transition from one topic to the other, but doing something for them to also get up and move and stretch and have that little brain break. And they know already that like, oh, it's time for our brain break, like they know it's I tell them, and they even do it. I'm like, because our brains are tired from learning about, this letter. So they know already. Or even if I kind of see them a little antsy, like in their seats already, or kind of just, staring around like, okay, we're losing on brain break, and we jump in to get up and to try and get their attention again.
Perfect. Awesome. Great.
So, well, I'm special needs preschool, and even when the elementary school closed down to go to virtual, I still had my preschoolers come in as long as parents dropped them off. And so in that way, it hasn't changed actually at all from what I've been doing since the beginning of the school year. I do have some kids virtual, and basically I just give them paper type activities and other activities with manipulatives. And they join me at Zoom circle time when I do circle time.
Oh, perfect.
But then physical activity, it's like I still have my outdoor recess. I still have the same schedule as what I normally had. So in that way, I'm probably one of the lucky ones where it hasn't changed as much. I'm still having in-person instruction, and the parents that choose to, they have virtual. So.
Great. Anyone else?
Well, basically my preschool is the same as Joanna, because we're in the same school district. But definitely this week, I really had to do like a lot of physical activities, because I just was seeing my students, that they were out of this world. They were like,
Yeah.
like kind of sleepy, and just and some of them were even in PJs. So for them, you know, getting, again, like Joanna said, get used to the routine, but I used a lot of physical activity this week so far.
Good.
But
It's a good
yeah, definitely. And I like
balance.
to start my lessons with physical activity first. Like we sing a song, then we move, and then I start with my lesson, because that's how I keep them engaged. And also when I'm doing like my lessons, I also ask them to bring an item for the letter of the week. And I know that has been working for me. And I think I'm going to implement some other of your ideas as well.
Cool.
To bring some
Great.
other items. I like that.
Great. Thank you. All right. Any other? Anyone else want to share? Here, actually, I'm going to put this in the chat box. This is the YouTube that I used for the over in the meadow. So that way you have that. Real quick, see if I can put my finger on it super fast. My computer's slow. It's like, no, I don't want to do this. But there we go. Oh. Let's see. So I didn't know that Douglas went back to in person this week, or this after the break.
Well, parents had the option that they
Okay.
could to go hybrid, but most of at least for my school, I know that the great majority of them are online. Like for me, I don't have any preschoolers coming into my classroom.
Oh, okay. Okay. I was looking for my resource sheet, but I can't put my finger on it super quick. So I'll have to send that out in the email.
I know I have a question, and this has nothing to do with this,
Mhm.
but does anybody know around like what dates we're gonna get vaccinated? Like the county will offer the 1B?
See, I just signed up just yesterday with the health department, and that's in Sierra Vista, and they would not even give me a date yet. They said they're still vaccinating all the people 75 years and older. And they said they were going to call me, but they could not even give me a date or an appointment at all.
Oh, so first I have to register?
I would think so, but I mean, it's probably better. I know they have the online site. I didn't go there. I just went to the Sierra Vista Health Department on Foothills Drive, and that's where I went. And they took my name and signed me up, and they said they will call me when they have appointments.
And you told them that you were a teacher?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Lisa, I believe that Mrs. Amaniego, our superintendent, sent an email sometime. I'll forward it to you in case you missed it, where she states that she already registered the district to get vaccinated.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah, I saw that. So she's gonna give us a date, probably?
Yes, as soon as they give her the date, then yeah. So we don't have to, I don't know if we have to register like separately, because she already kind of like register, we go under that registration. So maybe just kind of sign up and say, yes, I want it, since it's optional, you know, just kind of, I'm thinking she'll send something out saying, okay, this is your sign up for this day if you're interested in getting the vaccine. I'm assuming that's how they'll do it. I don't know. But yeah, but I know that the district is registered.
Yeah, I saw that email too, but I was trying to to get it earlier.
Me too. Didn't work.
Thank you, though.
I'm looking forward to mine, and I hate shots, and I can't wait to have it.
Yeah.
I'm actually very excited. I really want to get it.
I have a friend who is a funeral home worker. She prepares the bodies in El Paso, or not in El Paso, in LA. And she just got hers. And she was over the moon excited. Like posted it, like posted pictures. Like, yeah, that's right. That's so.
They should give us like stickers, right? I got
They
my
should.
Yeah, like I got vaccinated, taking a selfie with the nurse.
Right?
I got a shot today, like a lollipop.
So I just put in the chat box a couple of resources you can go to for yoga. So one of them is the cards that I use to create that storyline. Like I actually took cards and laid them out and took a picture. And she has things like this one here. She's like, where she's made stories. I think this one's the desert theme. And then some of them are some that they'll send free routines by email, like, Halloween. Oh, I'll definitely email them. And then there's also other resources that you can buy, but there's also free ones. And I think probably a lot of us are pretty creative, and we just need like what the picture of the pose looks like. So use them as you like. And then once again, like I'm happy to help do that. So I will definitely email these out. We'll email this recording. We'll email the routine, the YouTube link, the websites, and there'll also be a certificate and a survey to please fill out. So we need to do better at our pre-post surveys. So if you would please fill that out for us, we'd appreciate it. So any other questions? I'm so glad to see you all. Thanks for participating. Thanks for being like really good sports and getting in and getting involved. I know we had talked about doing more of a collaboration, like kind of a ECE collaboration. And we really wanted to build our attendance up before we continued with that. So that's still around, but we want to make sure that we have a lot more voices, and instead of just those of us, coming from the county and U of A. So next month is dental, and that's going to be really cool. Leslie and Andrea are going to do that one. And so I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully we'll see you again then. And if you have any questions, or if you want to like talk more about like the collaboration part, just shoot me an email. We can talk a little bit more about that. All right, great. Okay. So thank you all once again, and I'll see you next month. If not before.
Okay.
Awesome. Bye, everybody.
Bye.